It's time for a new chapter. As you probably can see, I am moving. After 3 years of living in Finland, I am moving back to Germany. Now, I don't have like a script for this video. I merely have a couple of bullet points of things that I want to talk about. I don't know why I decided to do it like this. I think it just feels more authentic this way. And I'm in the middle of moving. I'm in the middle of putting all my stuff together. By the time you see this, I'm going to be on a boat in the middle of the Gulf of Finland on my way to Germany. And then, yeah, a new chapter starts. I think at first we can talk about why I'm even moving to Germany. I loved my time here in Finland, but the decision to move has been really hard. And the main reason I'm moving is because I can't find a full-time job in Finland. So November 2023, I started looking for a full-time job here in Finland. I love doing freelance. I love being a photographer and a videographer here, but I don't think I'm really set out for freelance work. It's just not who I am. I love the freedom it gives me, but I don't love the irregularity of a paycheck. I had sent out over 100 applications, and in that time I had gotten only one positive response to an application. All the others were just an outright rejection. And there's a lot of things that can go into this. A lot of people are telling me that the job market here in Finland is just very competitive right now. And other people were telling me that I'm not Finnish enough. It's something that honestly I didn't really want to believe. For the longest time, I thought to myself, like, that can't be the case. You know, why would they care about how international I am? But the thing is, I heard it more and more and more. I mean, just news reports talking about how it's harder for foreigners to get jobs in Finland, and then also generally just like how hard it is to find a job in Finland. But I talked with a lot of people who are fully Finnish and have just spent a lot of time outside of Finland, studying abroad or even working abroad. And they've told me how difficult it is even for them to find jobs when they move back. And over this time, obviously, because I'm in a creative field, when I'm getting rejection after rejection after rejection, I start to doubt my own skills. And that's what was happening. My self-worth as a photographer, as a filmmaker, all these things were just plummeting because I was thinking like, oh, I'm just not good enough. But then just on a whim, I sent a couple of applications to Germany. There were reasons why I wanted to move back to Germany anyway. My whole family is there now. My brother just had a child, and obviously I want to just be close to him as much as possible. So I sent an application or two, and immediately the next day I got invited to an interview, and then another interview, and then another. And I didn't end up getting that job, but I felt like there was more potential. And I sent another application, and I wasn't even really focusing on it. I was just sending them out. And I was getting interview after interview after interview. So then I started thinking, well, maybe it's not me. And then something happened after I applied for a job that wasn't really a good fit for me. It had a little bit to do with editing, but not enough that I could see myself staying in that position for a very long time. And the recruiter knew that. She understood that. So when she offered me the job, she actually offered me also a chance at a position within the company that had more to do with creativity and editing and the kind of stuff that I want to do. I'm still in the process of interviewing for that, so I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. And that's not really the point. The point is, she said something to me that really stuck with me. She said, "You're such a strong candidate and you have such amazing experience and skills that we want to have you at this company." And at that point, it didn't matter to me if I was going to get this job or not. I knew that my worth was recognized in Germany. In the end, it doesn't matter why 99% of my applications in Finland got rejected. All I know is that I'm being interviewed in Germany. So that was a little over 2 weeks ago. And now I'm packing my stuff. My dad is coming tomorrow morning with a car to pick me up. We're going to put everything into the car, get on a boat, and drive back to Munich. Despite the problems that they might have with non-Finns or Finns who are not Finnish enough, I do love this country. And I had experiences here that have changed me as a person in a really, really significant way. The thing is, I've met some amazing people here and people who have really changed my life. You know, I met someone who made me want to change who I was, and then I met someone who loved me for who I am. You know, that person also guided me to finally start therapy, and honestly, without hyperbole, I can say that she did save my life. If I could summarize the last 3 years in a couple of words, it would be time to learn about myself. I was single for most of my time here. I spent a lot of time with myself, with my own mind. I did a vlog for a year where I really got to know myself really well. I tried different sports. I learned that I really love to run. I learned a lot about filmmaking and videography from starting this YouTube channel. And on top of that, I learned that I have a real passion for sports photography. And even that just happened to be a coincidence. In my first year here, I just happened to go to the first game of the season of my local American football team, and I had my camera along. I took a couple of shots and put them on Instagram, and they reached out to me, just thanked me for the photos and asked if they could use them or if they could have them or whatever. And I was like, sure. And then I asked them if I could come onto the pitch, take some photos from the sideline. And that's how I started doing sports photography. And honestly, that's something that I'm never going to give up. I'm going to continue doing that as long as I can, because I just love doing it so much. And that's something that I would have never, ever tried to do in Germany. Maybe because it felt like a smaller thing here. You know, it was just a small town in Finland with a sports team that I felt comfortable going up to them and asking, hey, can I just take some photos? But now I have this confidence that when I go to Germany, I have a portfolio of work that I can be like, hey, I've done this before. I can do this really well. And not only that, but I also have that self-confidence. I know that I'm good. Just saying that just sounded so weird because I don't think I would have ever said that a couple of years ago. I would have never thought that when I moved here, I would call myself a photographer, ever. I picked up photography as a hobby during the pandemic. I would photograph nature and, you know, basically I would just take my camera along when we went on walks with our dog. And that was it. And the fact that I now have bought a professional camera and have done professional work and even got to photograph a musician that I've been listening to since I was a teenager is just amazing. I was able to make money with photography, something that I never thought I'd be able to do. I've talked about before how I feel like this time here in Finland has been an overcorrection for my time before that, where I was focused only on work and didn't know how to balance my life correctly. Obviously here I had a lot more free time than I did work, and I did pay the price for it. I had weeks and months where I went hungry because I couldn't afford food, and I had to ask my parents and friends for financial injections. I can't even really begin to talk about all the stuff that I've experienced in the last 3 years, because this video would be one of those like 2.5 hour video essays that people put on in the background while they're working or doing something else. It's been an amazing time here. And even though I had some really, really bad times, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of just difficulties, I wouldn't give it up for anything in the world. The positives outweigh the negatives so much. Maybe not in quantity, but definitely in quality. I've been going back and forth trying to classify these last 3 years as a success or as a failure. In some sense, I did fail. I didn't manage to get a job. I didn't manage to start a life here. So yeah, one could see this as a failure. But I guess we'll have to see. It depends a lot on what happens next. If I can take what I've learned over the last 3 years here in Finland and apply it to my life living in Germany with a full-time job, then these last 3 years have not been a failure. And that's what this next chapter is going to be. Can I continue to place value on moving my body, eating healthy, taking time for friends, while also having a full-time job? Because before I moved to Germany, that wasn't the case. I would come home from work stressed and annoyed and just spend my days on the couch or in front of the computer. And I don't want that to be my life again when I go back. I've grown so much in these last 3 years that I would hate to have to consider this time here a failure. So I know that I'm going to do whatever I can when I'm back in Germany to make sure that these last 3 years do not go to waste. I hope this edits together well, and I hope it's not like half an hour long, because I ramble quite a lot.